Melanie Thomas here with eXp Realty. Today I am thrilled to have two wonderful people on the show with me. We have Mr. Andrew and Andrea Braun, also former clients of mine from, what did I say, back in 2013?
Yeah.
Purchased their home. So welcome, guys. I want to have you on today to talk about something really important that you guys do that I really admire. So Andrew is also a home inspector, which relates to the business thing. We're going to talk about the real stuff first. All right. So Tell me real quick, guys, Avos, A-V-O-S. Tell me what that's all about.
Avos is Anointed Victorious Outreach Services. And God gave me the name, and it's just stuck with me ever since. And it's a food pantry right now. We want to add more services later on in the future, like job fairs and resource center and job training programs. But right now we're just a food pantry. And in the midst of the pandemic, we need that right now.
Absolutely. So
more than ever.
This show I call Community Corner, meaning like I want to feature and talk to people who are doing things to make change for the better in their communities. And I can't think of anybody who's doing it better than the two of you. So food pantry. So right now we know in COVID world that we live in, people are struggling. There's a lot of people out of work, particularly you guys are down in Poinciana. You might have a lot of Disney employees down in that area that are now unfortunately, facing this bad time. But you were doing this before this happened, right? So when did you start Avos?
Oh my goodness. Well, we started Avos in 2019. In February, we got incorporated with Avos, and we became a nonprofit then. But I've been doing food pantries ever since I was a little girl. Growing up in the inner cities of Newark, New Jersey, I've been doing food pantries. My mother used to say, go across the street to the neighbors and get the lunch program, the summer lunch program, My mother worked, both my parents worked, and thank God for the lunch program, in the inner cities of Newark. So, and I just came really addicted to helping people and doing stuff for the community. And I was like, 13 or 14?
Oh, wow.
That was a real long time ago.
So that was instilled at an early age. So that's great. So obviously it's important, but why food, like people who need, who suffer from food insecurity? Why is that something that you were drawn to or that you feel compelled to help with?
It's a passion of mine because I was there at one point, not being married, just being a single woman, lost a job and everything, and I was just there, and I depended on the food pantry for my next meal years ago, and it really helped me sustain until I can get my unemployment started, and and it really works. It really works, and you never know what somebody's going through.
Yes.
You never know their situation, just because they have a smile on their face and they may not have eaten in days.
Wow.
So, I was there at one point.
Great. So that is great to want to give back. And then you found this guy and then he just joined in, right?
Yes.
Well, kind of.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward now. You started that in 2019. So now it's February or March of 2020 and, everything just falls off a cliff, right?
Yes.
Before COVID came upon us, what would you say, what kind of volume were you seeing there? And, what was your estimation of about how many people you would help, like maybe how often do you run the pantry? I
do the pantry once a month for now. The church allows me to use their space, and I'm so grateful for the church. And we go in, the volunteers from the church help. And before COVID, we was feeding on an average 100 families a month. Now, today, we're feeding 350 families a month.
Average.
Yeah. So it's a big jump. And we went from being inside to being outside. Now we're doing the drive-through. So all they have to do is drive around and pop their trunks. So, it's really something.
Or it tripled your...
Literally.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
I remember, so like we said, I think let's just say the pandemic really kicked in full gear. We saw the change, I would say, around March of this year.
Yes.
And so we knew people were in need, of course. So we were trying to prepare for it. You know, like we were doing 100 families on average. So we're like, okay, we're going to double up, maybe do a little extras. We did like 225. Within like the first half an hour, we ran out of food, and there were people still lined up. I mean, it was so bad. It was like, oh my God. Like we thought we were going to make a difference with the whole situation, but we weren't even close to the need at that time. So it's been crazy. Definitely a journey.
So that's interesting. So, you know, you guys are like on the front lines, right? So you know, if you turn on the TV, even before COVID, you would hear, oh, the economy is booming and, you know, everybody's great and it's better than it's ever been, blah, blah, blah. And politics aside, what's the reality on the ground? Before COVID and then what's your typical, if there is a typical person who comes to a food pantry? People think, oh, it's homeless people or whatever. But you tell me, what is the prototypical client of yours, for lack of a better term, that comes by looking for food?
To answer that question, I would say a typical person is somebody that is pretty much living at their means. So they're at that decision point of, am I going to pay my electric bill this month? Or are we going to eat this month? Are we going to send the kids to school this month? Or are we going to eat this month? So there's a lot of people are at that borderline, whereas they are just getting by just enough, you know, and maybe have a basic job, maybe one person supporting a whole family of 5 or 7, and it's just not enough to get by. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of elderly, a lot of middle, you know, people, middle-aged families.
Grandparents taking care of their grandkids. And I was, last year, I did a food pantry in Poinciana High School for the students. And we fed, for the whole year, thousands of food bags for them over the course of the 10 months of school.
So the students themselves, you mean, were actually the customers of the
Yes, and they would take home food for their parents, for their family, and a lot of the students were so grateful, like, thank you. They would come and get their food on Friday, and it was just amazing. You know, this year we're not doing it because of the pandemic, and but she was like, next year we back on, but this school year we're not going to do it.
So basically, when times were supposedly great, people still were suffering on a everyday basis from food, you know, basic food insecurity. I don't have enough to eat.
Yes.
I mean, it's funny because even then, and still going on now, but even at that point, you know, we don't start until about 10 o'clock in the morning. There are people in their cars at 7 in the parking lot waiting. Like it's almost a Black Friday sale type thing. I mean, people are literally out there before we would get there. And it's like, oh, wow. So the need has been real before this started. And now it's just fully kicked in gear. So, I mean, it's been crazy.
Have you found that since the pandemic, where now you maybe have new people coming that didn't have to use this type of service before, you find that there's almost like a reluctance or an embarrassment, or people are... You know,
they
are terrible to feel that way, but how do you deal with that? How do you keep their spirits up if you can tell that somebody is actually really reluctant to even be trying to use this service?
There are some people, but you know what? There's no shame, and we have no pride. We welcome everybody. You know, right now, what I'm finding, we even have to hand out food bags sometime when it's not the pantry. Somebody calling and like, do you have extra food? So, you know, I have to, meet me here and we can give you a box of food, you know, meet me at the church. But the problem is, you know, people need to eat every day, not just once a month.
Right.
So there is no shame, you know, either with the grandparents feeding the children after school, or, you know, you just don't even know. I even cook for the homeless. I cook hot meals for the homeless. And I have a lady that comes and goes to the camps and feed them food every day.
Right. And even like, actually, funny to say, to kind of even answer that question as well, like we gotten so many different phone calls from people, and you can tell like this is their very first time. Listen, you know, we've never had to do this before. We don't know how
They're almost like apologizing that they
you could tell.
And it's okay. It's okay.
So my wife almost calls it a no judgment zone. Whereas we recognize that people go through certain situations, and that's what we're here for, to help people get through the hump and hopefully, keep on going until they get back on their feet.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So how can people help you? Because where are you getting the money now? Is it your own money you're putting in? Is people donating? Like, how are you keeping this rolling when you had to triple the amount of food that you had to provide?
Through donations, and sometimes we use our own money and resources and just God he just provides. He just provides, it's all nonprofit. Nobody's getting paid. It's all volunteer work. So, and it's definitely a labor of love. The volunteers come and they work, and if they can't show up, they can't,
and it's
things
work.
Happen. It's work.
It's real work.
Yeah. So, we solicit donations through different places and stuff, and, down by to Second Harvest, we get food from Second Harvest. But I mean, it's really, really a labor of love. Yeah, it's becoming a full-time job.
Yeah,
it really is.
True.
So you said you want to see it grow beyond this into other things. So speaking of a full-time job, where do you go from here? Now you're doing food,
so
what's the next step?
So the real mission and the heart behind this whole thing is not just to help people survive, but it's more or less to help them actually thrive.
Yes.
So really, we want to become a resource center where we're providing different services that will allow them to not come and get food, but be able to take care of themselves so they can, like I said, buy their first house, get a better job, just different things that we can help them overcome the situation and become a better person for themselves and their families. So the real goal is to become a resource center.
I would love to have my own building. That's the ultimate goal. And just help people like with their credit score.
Yep.
Because in our community, 9 times out of 10, we don't have good credit, and it's a shame, and we should. And a lot of people don't know, it's like money is holes in their pockets and they just spend. So just to teach them how to budget.
In case some of them, they don't have any discretionary disposable income. They're living check to check or even less than that. So,
Right. Yep. Right.
You want to be like a one-stop shop where people can come in and get like financial education and literacy.
Yes.
And become homeowners.
Yes. First-time home buyer classes.
Yep.
Just set them up for like real success. Yep. Yes.
We will be calling.
Yes. So stuff like that, just to give them the tools to succeed in life.
Yes.
Because somebody did that for us and we learned,
Mm-hmm.
So, and we become better people for it,
Right.
So we can help families.
And then they can come back and volunteer.
Yeah, and they volunteer. Yeah. And I've had people come back and volunteer and donate, like, look.
People who come and pick up the food, they come back.
Yes. It's like I lost my job for a month, but I'm back on track. Here's some money. Here's a bag of food. Just do what you want. And it's like, okay, well, thank you.
And most people don't even realize every little bit helps, whether it's a bag of food. I mean, one lady literally dropped off a Publix bag full of food in that case. And it's like, she was like, I'm sorry it's so little, but in the end of the day, your heart is what matters, and it's going to go to somebody else that needs it. I mean, you might be taking that for granted, but somebody else who doesn't have anything is very grateful to have it. So, it's every little bit helps. We're open to take from the littlest donation to, whatever God puts in your heart to give. So,
and I have a lot of clients now who have COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Have COVID, and they're calling, they're stuck in the house, and it's a 14-day thing. So they're stuck in the house with the grandparents and it's like a household of 7. And it's like, we have COVID, we can't come out, we need food. I was like, okay, can you send your neighbor? So they're sending their neighbor to get food for them, and they're getting the food, and their neighbor's being blessed with the food also. Yep. So it becomes a twofold thing.
Domino effect.
Yeah. So a lot of clients
even cancer.
Neighbors have cancer, even in my own neighborhood. Neighbors on my block, my neighbors have cancer, a couple of them. And it's like, with the treatment, you can't come out. She was like, oh my God, just put it
now with all the COVID stuff.
It's like, put it by the door and I'll get it, and it's like, whatever you need. And if I'm at the store, I will call her and be like, I'm at the store, what do you need? And I'll just drop it off at her house. She lives right next door. And it's like, wow. So you never know what somebody's going through.
So you guys have become like mini celebrities out there, or in Poinciana, so people, they need help. They send you, okay, tell me, when is it take place?
It's every second Saturday of the month from 10 to 12 noon at 1901 South Poinciana Boulevard, Kissimmee.
All right. And is there a web address or a place where people can go online if they want to donate to the cause and help you guys out? I'll put it down below when we're post-processing this. But what's the website? Is there an online donation?
You got it. So it's www.avoshelps.org. So AVOS helps.org.
Yes, and then you can Cash App us, or you can, really,
real.
Cash App or PayPal, or,
All right, so you set up electronic.
Yeah.
No excuses.
No excuses. No
Yes,
excuses.
I don't have a check on me. Well, that's okay. We have an app for that.
That's all right. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Well, yeah, that's truly a blessing that you guys are able to do this, and I hope that I can give you the extra exposure you need, and you guys in Poinciana, as we pointed out. But do you see people coming from outside of your area that have now learned about what you're doing?
Yes.
Yes. And it's really a labor of love, like I said, because you don't know who. All we ask is name and how many in your household.
And we've been so fortunate because there have been places that actually had to shut down right now because they couldn't handle the volume or they just didn't have enough resources. So they've been actually sending people from other areas.
Yeah, other pantries. Yeah, because some of the pantries closed. So
to like help volunteers to help you guys out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're clients.
Clients.
Oh, you mean the people coming to pick up the food?
Yeah.
They have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
They're used to going to that place. So it's like, can we send our clients to you? Because we can't do it right now.
Yeah.
So
and the volunteers is really what makes this thing go. Because this is
let's
not.
give a little shout out. How many people does it take if you have 300, 350 cars coming through on a Saturday? How much manpower does it take to make that happen? And what's the from start to finish?
We pick up on Friday, and we box up the food. We break down all the food, box it up, bag it up on Friday, and then we distribute on Saturday. And we need about 30 volunteers
on average.
On average, and 99% of my clients are Spanish.
Yes.
So I need Spanish-speaking volunteers because I don't speak Spanish.
Right.
And
I
try, but it don't work. I just know a couple of words. Just comida. That's all I need to know. Yeah. So other than that, I mean, it's an average of 30 volunteers between the 2 days. About 30 volunteers is what we need for the 2 days, and it's definitely work. It's work. It's sweat equity.
It's a lot of lifting.
It's a lot of lifting. Those boxes are heavy.
Because you got to understand, on average, we're probably bringing home about 12 pallets of stuff. 12 to.
Where are you putting all this food? Like, how do you transport it?
We rent a truck. We rent a U-Haul box truck, and it is full to the tip.
Full to the tip, yeah.
Yes, and we take it over to the church and we unload it, and then we just start breaking stuff down, opening up boxes and pallets and stuff, and just we have a system now in place, thank God, and it really works really well. But I need the manpower and the volunteers because me and Andrew can't do it alone.
Right.
We need
so people can go to that same website if they want to find out how to volunteer as well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just give me a call and we can work something out. I had a lady the other day walking her dog when we was doing last month at the pantry, and she said, "I seen you guys out there with the signs, and I was walking my dog. Can I volunteer?" I was like, "Absolutely, come on." She was like, "Okay, I'm coming." So she'll be here on Saturday.
Yeah, truth be told, if we had more hands to help, we could probably even do it more days. But it takes a lot to pull everybody together. And, people with the whole COVID situation. So I mean, we would love to even expand from that means, but we need a lot of support. So
and we are social distancing as much as we can.
That was gonna be my next question.
We are wearing masks. Mask is a must. We have to wear masks. So I mean, you boxing up. Stuff and the tables and stuff. So, but it's work, and I let people know.
It's a full day.
It's a full day.
Full few days.
Exactly. Yeah. It takes about a week for me to get things together and a week before the pantry. And then once the pantry is over, it's like, I can rest. You know, once that Saturday afternoon at 12:30, 1 o'clock gets here, I'm like, I'm resting. I'm not doing anything else.
And so at that time, your truck is empty. You don't have an item left.
I don't have anything left.
Totally empty.
Wow.
Anything left. And you know, if
you used to see the church, it's like literally a mountain of food. Like it's crazy. All the chairs are filled up. The stage is filled up.
You'll see. And the pastor said, he said, every room we got in here is filled with food. What's going on? He said, you need your own space. I was like, absolutely.
Yeah. So come on, Pastor.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for Kingdom Life. They really, and then we have another church that's helping us, Redeemed by Fire. They're Spanish, they're bilingual, and they really come through, and they really able to talk to the clients and sign them in, because you have to be signed in.
Right.
So they're able to sign them in and everything. So that works out really well.
Yes.
Because they speak Spanish.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yep. Totally.
That is amazing, guys. I think that's fantastic what you're doing. This is all volunteer of your own time. You still have bills to pay, and I guess you still have a mortgage. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. We're working on it.
Yeah. So the fact that people like yourselves are doing this, especially in these times, I think it's so important, and people need to shout you out. And thank you so much for what you guys are doing, because I know those people that come by, they're even the ones that are reluctant are grateful, and I'm sure you've seen it on their faces. And that's got to be a rewarding feeling with all the hard work and sweat.
It really is.
So many stories of people that literally came by, saw the signs, did not know what they were going to eat that day type scenarios. I mean, literally very realistic of how fortunate we've been able to be this.
I've had some protein bars, and one guy was saying, oh my God, I need extra protein. The doctor told me he was so thin. I was like, here, take a case. He was like, thank you, because I'm supposed to be getting extra protein. And he was so grateful. And he stood there and he almost cried. I was like, wow. One guy, young. But you just never know.
No.
And
people need to know. People need to see that and hear about it, because again, the narrative is that everything's great, and the stock market's up. That's not putting food on everybody's table, right?
Not at all.
It's not.
Again, I'm happy that you do that, and I know, Andrew, you have a job because you're a home inspector.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, absolutely.
Take time away from that. So, again, just wanted to give praise to you guys for what you're doing. And this young man here, Andrew Braun, everybody needs a home inspection done. Yes, he's your guy. What's your website there, sir?
It's www.arbhomeinspections.com. We're also on Facebook as well and all that good stuff.
All right. So those of you out there that might need a home inspection done, again, he's your guy. Another time we'll bring him on. We'll talk about some of the do's and don'ts with that, what to look out for. You're talking about first-time home buyers. Probably that's one of the most important people you can help as an inspector, right? A lot of people get mad at you because they think you're killing their deal when you come and point out the flaws in the house. And, it's for their own good, right?
Not the good realtor.
Oh, the shady ones. I know. They just, let's make it happen. Let's just get it done.
Yeah.
So that's another topic for another day, but because that's also important for people to know why home inspections are important, and you should never skip that if you're buying a home, new or used, right?
Definitely, especially used, even new too. Yes. Yes,
exactly. Well, I'm going to be coming out to visit you guys on the weekend. I'm excited to again see you, show a little bit of what goes on live in action out there at Avos. Feed the people in Poinciana and beyond.
Yes.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Braun, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to hopefully spread the word for you and get you some people to open their pocketbooks and give to the cause, because what you're doing is amazing. And again, you were not jumping on the bandwagon. You were doing this before.
Yes, absolutely.
Long time.
This is my passion. So,
all right.
And what better way is to live your passion?
True.
No,
you gotta live your passion. So.
Absolutely. So more to come on that, and let's try to build you up and give you all the resources that you need to keep doing the important work that you're doing. Thank you both for joining me today, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.
See you
All
on
right,
Saturday.
guys.
Yes,
Good.
look forward to it.
All
It's
right.
gonna be fun.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye now.
Bye.